What up, players? It's WarbossTae up in this mug. Welcome to day 9 of the 2021 Summer Painting Challenge July edition, and I have finally honed in on what I want to do for my July project. Unfortunately, it's not even going to get here until August. I ordered it to come in, these miniatures to come in by the end of July, and they were supposed to be in by the 3rd week of July, but the artist on Etsy just contacted me and said he's so backed up, he's not even going to be able to get to it until 10 days later than projected. And I said, all right, that's fine. So let me tell you what it is. It is my Patrons Guild of Hobbiton, the Patrons Guild of Hobbiton. I'm going to start everybody who becomes a patron off as one of these footmen. I got them mixed on round bases, so you're going to have a mixture of guys similarly armored, but wielding either a halberd or a sword and a shield. And I'm going to be using those as my level 1 guys that I'm going to paint. So for a certain amount of contributions to my studio, you're going to get a model to represent you, and soon you're going to see him getting painted up. Oh, and there's this guy with the arrows in him. He looks so hilarious. I had to order him. And then after donating so much money, you're going to see those footmen models get painted up and washed and highlighted. Then they're going to get upgraded, and it's going to start all the way back down at 0. And these foot knights are going to be built and painted up one by one as you donate to my studio. So I'm just ordering a bunch, and it's going to be militiamen and then foot knights, where you're going to see them having their own individual characters. They've got all interesting kit because they're questing knights. So they've got like helmets and armor and backpacks and torches and weapons strapped to them. And these are all from Highland Miniatures, but I found them through Etsy, because Highland Miniatures only gives you out the 3D files, and then you're going to have to find somebody who has an actual 3D printer to print them up. Finally, if you keep donating to my studio, you're going to have a militiaman painted up, a foot knight painted up, and finally a mounted knight painted up. I thought first maybe I'd get the fully heavy armored, fully enclosed helmet, but I thought it's really cool seeing these faces and the individuality. I've got one of my patrons, who I won't name, who's going to be already commissioning me to do one of his knight models to represent him. So he's going to go straight to the knight model rather than starting at the militiamen, because he's donated so much to my studio already. For everybody else, I think it's going to be a great way to show the progression. If you are a patron of my studio, I want you to have this reward. I want you to see a miniature that represents you as the patron of Hobbiton, going from a militiaman, very nondescript, hoarding it up with the rest of the nameless and faceless soldiers, donating more to my studio. You're going to see a foot knight coming out, and then finally on horseback, charging gloriously into battle. I think it's a great way for me to say thank you to my patrons, a great way to show that my studio is different from every other studio, and hopefully to get more people to become patrons so they can see their own little figures getting painted up and going through the process. And at any time, if you want to stop being a patron after you get at least a militiaman painted up, so after you've donated enough of that to get to that level, then I would be happy to mail you whatever models I finished. And that's that. Let me know what you guys think. Let's go on to my actual progress for today. So that leaves me with 2 issues, because I don't want to call this July edition of the Painting Challenge a bust. I do want to make something happen for it. I went back to my day 1 video, because I remember I did hold up a box of Cadian Shock Troopers, and I was trying to remember, did I commit to painting them, or did I commit to painting these? I know I was committing to painting a group of models to represent my patrons, but I couldn't remember what I'm supposed to paint. So because those models aren't going to come in, I do have these, and Daniel Sprinkle is going to be getting his Galen Van Denst model painted up, so I might as well do something with the rest of these and finish out my project, try to make it as much of a success as possible. As you can see, I put on the rough terrain with the textured rough terrain from AK Interactive onto the base, so once that's dry, it'll be ready to prime. Some of them already have some sand and some priming on them. I see those 2 in the back have gray primer already, but it'll be good to start them off all together, get them all primed up. And what I might do is another tour of the Empire, where we just dig up the old Empire rules and colors and paint them up in the different color schemes. And it'll be fun to paint up that Gandalf. I don't even know where he's from, what range. Just kind of appeared in my... He just kind of appeared in my collection one day. Isn't that weird? Came on this metal base, like all together. He's so substantive too. It'll be fun to paint. All right, guys, let's talk about the question of the day. So day number 9 is, what is one of your favorite moments in wargaming or role-playing? Describe it. Well, my favorite 2 campaigns out of any role-playing game are The Restless Dead and Lichmaster from Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 1st Edition. Both of these are fantastic. This one requires a little bit more creativity because it's a number of scenarios that you can use either as one-offs or as one connected adventure. My favorite thing about this book is that in the very beginning of it, you have a map and it shows you where all of the scenarios and adventures take place. But you've also got these interesting little symbols for things that have nothing in the book, like these ruins, some old towers, a little town there, some hamlets. So they want you to be creative and to insert adventures of your own, scenarios of your own. And I just thought it was really fantastic. There's a number of different scenarios. Like I said, it's all written by different people, different writers. Just some great, fantastic stuff. Includes some really interesting artwork and maps to help you really get imaginative. I was playing this game with my gaming group before I got really into the miniatures, when we used mostly pen and paper role-playing games and we used our imagination a lot, and I really enjoyed Kruger Schreiber this is the guy you might remember from last month. I talked about Boot Stew. This is the guy we were looking for. That's his house. There's I think his submarine drawing is in there somewhere. Fantastic adventure. Just a lot of great, yeah, here's a submarine. Just a lot of great scenarios that you can really sink your teeth into. So imaginative. Games Workshop wouldn't dare do anything like this anymore because it doesn't require miniatures. It just requires imagination, storytelling skills, and a group of people who are really into telling those stories. Second one, Lichmaster. I think I did a deep dive on this before, this scenario. It's more of a connected storyline than The Restless Dead. So many great moments in this one as well, and I really loved it. It's one of my favorite campaigns because it starts off so small, and it's just like your adventurers go to help somebody. It always starts off small, right? Your adventurers go to help somebody with a very minor task, and it ends up just snowballing, and all these different characters come in, the stakes get higher and higher, and by the end it's just this insane mashup of different things. But I loved the different characters. You had logs, and there were like starter profiles for like sample characters, and they're so simple. You had a bodyguard, you had wizard's apprentice. Like, these were starter characters. They didn't want you to be experienced, really. They wanted your characters to start off with a knowledge of the world and how to defend themselves. But you had like a bounty hunter, a physician student who was neurotic. I remember this character. I really loved him because he was so weird and neurotic, and it's written how to play the characters, something they would say, and it gives you a lot of information on how you could portray them. Yeah, just 2 great adventures that were just so much fun. So I know this started out as talk about one specific memory, but if you want to make your own memories, I have memory banks full of the evenings of fun and frivolity that my role-playing group had with these 2 adventures. More than any other scenario or campaign. If you can find these on eBay or through your local mortar and pestle and mortar. No, brick and mortar. Why am I talking about mortar and pestle? Through your normal brick and mortar game store, these are priceless. All right.
What up, players? Gandalf the Grey up in Dismark. Support WarbossTae Studios. For now, more than ever, Hobbiton is in desperate need of heroes. Heroes like Daniel Sprinkle, Scrag Fist, Pix, Dicey Guy, Play It Painted, and Logan Swanson.